My question is, what is this one big project that the BJP, one or two or three big projects that the BJP could have given? For instance, I know that a second airport was promised for Chennai. Till today, I'm just pointing out a few. Nothing has happened. And the government says, no, state government has not identified the land. Center says and periodically writes. Expansion of the Chennai's airport terminal, again a long delayed project. Periodically announcements are made. No, the reason I'm pointing out is these are all things that is in your power. No, and now 4 months before you announce 80,000 crore and 70,000 crore.
No. See, these are all the projects which are to be completed, which are going to happen. It is a continuous process. It doesn't mean that we have given only 80,000 crores. Already we have given a very, very clear thing that more than 4 lakh crores worth of infrastructure development activities funds have been allotted to Tamil Nadu. It is happening. You can't say that the infrastructure development is not at all happening. How can you say that?
Listen, your GDP won't be what it is if it's not been for the infrastructure projects which have been happening here.
Yes.
Today we are sitting at 16.94 lakhs of crores, crossing from the fourth level where we were in the DMK regime. Today we are the second largest state in India. And it's largely due to the infrastructural investments which happened not only in the hard infrastructure but also the social infrastructure. See the education infrastructure, see the health infrastructure.
I agree.
He's talking of Faisal Bima Yojana. Amma health insurance scheme was modified from Kalinga's insurance scheme. Kalinga's insurance scheme talked of 1 lakh model. We've changed it completely to include government hospitals. The government hospitals today in Tamil Nadu are the best government hospitals in India. Nobody can deny that fact. We put that money in. They supported us in terms of the infrastructure.
Not only that.
One second. I'll have to go to the next topic because it's agriculture. I think one of the major issues, Mr. Tyagarajan, is, farmers' loans need to be written off periodically every 5 years. But beyond that, there does not seem to be anything in the bag as far as agriculture is concerned. Growth rates are very slow if you exclude last year, which was because of a very disastrous previous year, and so the base effect pushed it up. You've got consistently low agriculture rates. As of 2015, I was told in the last 7 or 8 years, 8.7 lakh people had quit agriculture in Tamil Nadu. So, look, what is it that you're often very critical of the government's policies, but what would you do differently?
So I think there's a big problem here. It's not just Tamil Nadu, it's around the country, right? 8.7 lakh may be Tamil Nadu. The statistics are that agriculture is throwing out roughly 3 million older, uneducated people into the workforce. So as much as we have to accommodate the 12 million young, relatively educated people, we are getting 3 million older people. So there's a structural problem. My family's been farming for 300, 400 years. So I'll tell you, none of the schemes I've heard till today are actually comprehensive enough to deal with the fundamental problem. The fundamental problem is this. Agriculture is an inherently highly volatile business. And because land holdings have been split and given in small pieces, and because the credit system is not kind of functional, you have average farmers who simply cannot stomach that volatility. Right? Most people don't have the capacity to stomach the volatility that comes with either rain or pestilence or market glut. We now have a global market for many agricultural products. So there is a structural problem that people who don't have capacity to absorb volatility are in the most volatile of businesses. MSP doesn't fix that. Temporary loan waivers every now and then may give immediate relief, but doesn't fix that. Everything I've seen so far, even crop insurance, it talks a good game, but whatever data I've seen, the payouts have not been appropriate.
Significant, yeah.
And I'm not saying this politically. I'm saying independent of the best of intentions. What we need is a fundamental reassessment of the components of that volatility and a comprehensive policy, including bringing market prices, including removing the deadweight loss of multiple levels of intermediaries. Now, that's one of the big problems in agriculture, is that because of the disconnect between the farmer and the retail, there are people who are not only making deadweight loss, fat margins in the middle, but they have the capacity to absorb volatility much more than the farmer because they're rich in capital, they're rich in equipment, they're rich in storage space. Farmers are not. So we need a fundamental rethink of the agricultural model. And we have to start from the basics. We have to start from, is it really in our interest to kind of keep on encouraging small farm holdings? Is there some new model of collectives? Is there better ways of procurement Is there better ways of bringing markets closer to farmers and farmers closer to markets? And how can we mitigate this volatility with multiple components? It can't be any one thing. It can't be front end or back end.
I'll take that to Mr. Pandirajan also. Again, very, very poor growth rates in agriculture. I know it's a national thing. It's not a Tamil Nadu issue alone. But I think what is that one big idea that the government needs to sort of, in your opinion, do?
I think one big idea, what we mentioned in the last budget, which has got implemented, is the Rural Transformation Project, RTP, which first time a state government is implementing with the World Bank support, where the idea of the farmer groups, farmer interest groups getting converted into farmer companies, 6,000 companies to be promoted within Tamil Nadu on value-added agricultural products, for instance. Okay, now, Amma's vision on agriculture, which is a stated vision, rests on about 10 planks. One of the planks is this converting agriculturists into promoters of organizations, like they're very successfully done in Gujarat. For instance, castor seed producers' councils have done phenomenally well. We've taken on similar philosophies here, though of course castor seed integration didn't happen with World Bank money. Here 660 crores of World Bank money is coming in, where these 6,000 odd farmer producer groups are getting converted into companies. And I think that's one of the 10 anchor points which Amma had said. And the fact is, we are producing a lot. Our farmers are producing a lot. Productivity has been going up. Yeah. And that's all in reality. We said increase the productivity twofold, raise the income threefold is what we committed in our vision statement. Tamil Nadu has the richest research facilities for agriculture, right from the first research facility in India down to what we have, the TNAU. I think we've been deepening our research capability, and our farm to the lab to land kind of programs are very powerfully carried out. In my view, Tamil Nadu has the greatest diversity in terms of the agriculture, in spite of such a rural-urban migration, in spite of industry growing stronger, 34%.
But why are, despite all this, why are the growth rates so low?
No, growth rates are okay. In the sense it's better than Indian growth rate. Indian growth rate is at times minus,
margin,
at times minus.
Yeah.
We are still, in the last 8 years, we have done close to 4.5%, which is decent in my view. We have managed to bring forth much of the fallow lands. The fallow land conversion program is a very successful program. Dryland farming program has been very successful. You see, even private enterprises today had some kind of people talking about encouraging farmers to do the cultivation of fodder in their place. It's been a huge success. And it's reflecting in various disciplines, like, for instance, the fisheries. We've really grown. Like everybody criticizes, for instance, our program to give sheep, program to give cows. These are all, in my view, value-added income for the farmer. And today, we are now the third largest in terms of milk production. We are number one in egg production. And we are going to be number one in hen production. We are now giving 50 hens to each poor family now. So hens and cows and sheep, much of it with the intelligentsia criticizes, is leading to value-added agriculture in Tamil Nadu. And that's the reason there have been no farmer deaths here.
Yeah,
while
no farmer suicide.
Many of the other states have that. We don't have that.
Yeah. Mr. Narayanan, I'm moving on to water because of lack of time. I remember doing an election show in 2004. And I remember the representative of the BJP, I won't name the person, saying that we will go ahead with the linkage of national rivers. This is the dream project of Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. Now we are in 2019 and you've now been in power effectively for 5 years. And you have just come out with this DPR for linking Godavari with Kaveri. Now, it's taken 5 years just to get the DPR at this stage. And we have no idea when the 60,000 crore will be made available for this linking of this two rivers and what benefits will accrue to whom and so on. What has happened over all these years, which is, of course, in 10 years you were not in power, so that's one issue. But after that, after 2014, why has nothing been said about, nothing, I mean, I don't know, you might have made statements, but nothing actually has happened in terms of interlinking of Godavari and Kaveri. I think the last announcement by Mr. Nitin Gadkari was about a couple of months ago.
See, interlinking of rivers, definitely it was a dream project of Mr. Vajpayee. We all know. But after that, when Congress came to power, Mr. P. Chidambaram and also Rahul Gandhi, they very clearly said that river linking project is not at all possible. And for 10 years, they closed it. And again, we have to work out. Mr. Suresh Prabhu was, fast on that. And suddenly, we have moved in 10 years. It was totally, it disappeared. But now, the state governments has to give their consent for river linking project also. We have to understand that. Certain states, for example, in the Kaveri issue, Karnataka is not cooperating with Tamil Nadu. So we have to bring them. So river linking projects, if you ask Gujarat, when we were ruling Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and other states, these three states,
you had a common,
we had a river linking project. So the state governments and the state regional parties has to cooperate. Then only this river linking project can come through. One. Number two is that, see, as far as Kaveri is concerned, when we were in power, we had two rivers in Karnataka. That two rivers which was flowing, towards the west. So we created, Mr. Vajpayee himself spoke to Mr. Yediyurappa, and he asked him, we prepared a DPR. We prepared a DPR, still it is available in the public domain, you can see. But when the Congress government came, they totally, they totally neglected it. And if that had come, definitely this Kaveri issue would not have been there. It would have been very easily solved. Because the river which was flowing in the west and going to the Arabian Sea, you put a tunnel like what we do it in metro, just 8 kilometers. It would have flown to, Tamil Nadu. Yeah. So this is totally a political issue. Each and every party has to cooperate. As far as farmers issue, I'll just take 1 minute. As far as farmers issue is concerned, we have created huge schemes, like, from soil health cards. And also, even in soil health cards, we have been very successful. And also this e-NAMs, e-mandis, in maybe Tamil Nadu, I think from this year, they will do well because, Tamil Nadu did not join that scheme. Only last year they have joined in e-mandi scheme. And throughout the country, at least in BJP ruled states, we have taken all those things, and definitely agriculture is poised for a very beautiful growth because 11 lakh crores, which was not imaginable at all. 11 lakh crores was the loans, the target budget we have allocated 11 lakh crores, and particularly in farming we have done a real revolution, but it is politically motivated.
No, but it is not yet reflected in agricultural growth rate. Just one point on the water. This is the larger picture, Godavari with Kaveri and linking of rivers and so on. But at a practical level, again, the delay in projects, for instance, the desilting of the Chennai reservoirs, which has been sort of promised for so many years, is finally, I think just got underway a few weeks ago. Again, the new reservoir for the city. I keep coming back to Chennai because many of the viewers, audience here can relate to it because of the Terwai Kandigai reservoir, which was supposed to be, used for storage in 2016, we are now in 2019. Again, there are problems.
I want to just quickly reflect on this. See, starting from rainwater harvesting, which Amma pioneered in this whole country, down to CRRT, the Chennai River Water Restoration Trust work, which is cleaning up the 3 river systems in Chennai. There are almost 8,500 people who have been relocated from the banks of these rivers who've been occupying that place, and no government has done this. No government had the guts to do this. We have done it very smoothly, very effectively, and that's the reason you see Adayar actually flowing at the end of till the estuary, and you have this Kuam which has been cleaned up from Parithipat Lake. You need to also do the lakes first before you get the river systems flowing. Okay. So you see the 604 crores of Chennai River Water Restoration Trust being finally spent on this. 3 times there have been attempts to clean up the river Kuam. Twice in the DMK regime. Once now. And for a change, you're actually seeing water flowing down Kuam from Parithipat. From Kuam to Parithipat, it's been happening always. From Parithipat to Marina, there has been a problem. And in that, now, this money has been properly spent, and you are going to see Kuam actually flow like Adayar does, and as Kosas Halayar will start doing. To me, we are attempting it. We are attempting it very sincerely, whether it's restoration of water bodies. You had Korattur getting restored as a drinking water lake. You had 3 lakes which are getting restored as drinking water lakes around the city of Chennai. So that Chennai's problem will be solved. And I wanted to raise this issue, Viranam. How many people associate Viranam with those giant pipes, which people made it into their homes. We made that project happen to Veeranam to come here. And we had Telugu Ganga, the project which has been laid down by the ADMK government. In my view, 90% of the structured water projects in this state have realized because of ADMK.
Mr. Tyagarajan, I'm going on to another larger issue, and I think that the audience, you'd like to...
I just want to say one thing. Water mismanagement is across all parties has happened for decades. I take exception with only one thing. Mr. Pandirajan's party, his today party, which was not his party 5 years ago, has been in power continuously for 8 years. If there was a government that should have addressed the fundamental problem of two things. One, urban populations have grown a lot. Two, storage facilities have been encroached dramatically. No matter how many river linkings you do, no matter how many special projects you do, unless you do a fundamental, which I give credit to Ms. Jayalalitha, but you need to revive that scheme and expand it and exponentially increase it to do fundamental groundwater management. I mentioned this in my speech in the assembly 2.5 years ago. The government has not taken one step, has not given me a response, has not done anything. This is a structural problem that if we don't kind of tackle at a structural level, there is no politics in this. We will not have water. You can say whose fault it is, whose fault it wasn't and all that. You are a sitting government. You got to make sure that water supply comes. I'm not sure that we are there. That's all. Now you move to the next
point taken. I'll just move on quickly to two more points because after that we need to get the audience questions involved. One point is something that I'm sure bothers all of us. Tamil Nadu as a state, election after election, the role of paying off the voter. I think it's very significant, though while we discuss, industry and agriculture and so on, eventually the corruption in the system, which means that political parties and people demand. Now, there's no point in getting into whose fault it is and people are asking, we are giving and all that. Now, where do you see this going now? I mean, the going rate at RK Nagar was 4,000 to 6,000 rupees. Now, where does this stop? And as a policy, can the DMK... Okay, we won't even get into who started this. They will say Thirumangalam formula, we will say RK Nagar formula, somebody else will say some other formula.
I'm not interested in the past. Yeah. Let's just look at the future.
So how are you going to put an end to this? And this primarily relates to the two of you, the two big parties in the state.
Let me just give you three perspectives on that. Number one, in RK Nagar 2, we made the stance that we would not give any money and we didn't get our deposit. So that's what the outcome is for people who say they won't give money. On the other hand, I'll take my personal case. In 2016, the day I was announced as a candidate, I went and said, I will not give money. If you can get a better candidate than me, please vote for him. I got better things to do with my life. I won. Not only did I win, I won when I go and analyze the vote share. The middle and upper classes did not change their vote that much. The vote share between 2014 and 2016 in my constituency changed almost 18-20%. My predecessor, the district secretary, lost the MP election by 14-15%. I won it by 4%. That 27,000 vote swing, almost 100% of that came in the poorest colonies, in the Dalit colonies, in the Kudusai Matravariyams, in the really the what they call in those days the MC colony, the Tupuravu Tolilalar, those kinds of places. And in those places, the power of money is big because, for example, the maintenance cost for a Kudusai Matravariyam is 500 rupees a month.
Yeah.
The average paid across the state by my friend's party was 250. So that is half a month's rent that they took. And they still voted for me. So I am of the opinion, my personal example, that if you give people hope and if you give them a good candidate, they will buy the call option on you. And without the money, they'll vote you in. I'll expand that one more, and then you can take it. Yeah. I'll expand that, right? The last point. In 2011, we were in power. In Delhi, we were in power. In Chennai. We had a good coalition. And I assume that those things influence the extent of money you can give. Let's make that assumption. In 2011, we did not even win 10% of the seats. In 2016, we were in opposition. We were not in power in Delhi, we were not in power in Tamil Nadu, and yet we got 89 seats. And I have individual instances, you can go and look up. ex-ministers, powerful ex-ministers, who lost that same constituency to that same ADMK candidate in 2011 by 30,000 votes, won by 20 or 30,000 votes. That means in one constituency, for the same man in the same party, against the same man in the same party, the vote swing 60,000 against the flow of money. That's my point. If it was with the flow of money, it makes no sense. Against the flow of money. So what do you take from that?
My singular point is, can the DMK give a promise to the voters of Tamil Nadu that in the 2019, I'm going to ask the same question to Mr. Pandirajan, by the way, that the DMK will not pay the voter, period?
I am not senior enough in the party to make those things. I will only use the example of RK Nagar. I will only use the example of RK Nagar where we did not give money. So at least we have a track record of one. Ask my friend to give a commitment.
Mr. Pandirajan.
I was a minister. See, I think I would only say that there are very significant section of the ADMK candidates did not pay money. Okay, like I agree that he didn't pay money. I vouch for it. I think it's a great thing and a complete exception in DMK. That is my the reason why I'm recognizing him because the whole thing.
How does he know? How does he know my party better than me?
Because
I don't understand.
Because I've seen many other people, and I think I'm very happy. I'm very happy. Now let me talk about ADMK. Listen, I think you've been very kind to DMK by saying you don't know who started it, kind of a thing. The whole world knows that Thirumangalam started this. Thirumangalam started this in absolute royalty. I mean, the son of the chief minister comes there, sits there, takes control of it, and how much money was paid, what all was given, everybody knew about it at that point in time. I also need to say this. I mean, this thing of hopping parties or whatever, I think is thrice spoken about it. I think I wouldn't want to acquiesce in this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I came late into politics. I wouldn't have found a place in DMK because my father was only a match factory worker. He didn't have any silver spoons and golden whatever to talk about, which would have given me an entry into DMK. Okay, so I went and joined BJP at that point in time, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee, inspirations of many kinds, led me there. At the royal age of 40, which is a very late age to be in politics, okay. After that, 7 years I spent in BJP, and I felt at that point in time, DMDK, the Vijaykanth, he had a promise, and I went with him. He trusted my capability and gave me a parliament seat. And I have no issues with any of the parties that I've been in. The fact is that if there's something I want to do which doesn't gel with where my party is, I do go to where the option is. And Amma really touched me with all herself. And 5 years and 9 months back, I met her and I joined the party. And I have no regrets for having changed because every party I've been in, I've added value to the party. I've added value to that party much more than what that party added value to me. Okay. I have no regrets. And I've, in ADMK...
Okay, point taken.
One statement here. I think increasingly, the impact of money for votes is coming down, which is a good thing in my view. Okay, I don't believe DMK lost their deposit in RK Nagar because they didn't pay money. I bear testimony to the fact that they paid money. Okay, I was there as the election in charge, and there can be differences. There was a serious question on the leadership of Mr. Stalin, and he had just taken over, and it was the first election that he was facing. Good. And in my view, that impact is going to be there in the whole of Tamil Nadu. I don't think, votes cash or no cash or whatever. Here is a leader who is struggling to fit into the large shoes of his father and trying to make all kinds of strands of strategy from Dravidian.
Will the ADMK not pay money? Please, we are again going.
See how he always goes to somebody else. He doesn't answer his question. Always talking about somebody else.
I won't do what he did. I won't do what he did. I personally would like my party not to pay cash for votes. Let me make that very clear. Okay, I will not pay pay cash for votes, as he declared, for instance. In terms of influencing my party, I believe that I would at least cast a strong vote for no cash for votes. Okay, that's something I will do.
But you made a very important point. You said you felt that the influence of cash in the election is going down.
Waning.
How many of you in the audience think that the influence of cash is going down? Is it going down?
It's going down. In terms of how much percentage will swing there. No. I'm saying, correct me.
No, but Sumat, I am telling you that...
I'm not saying that it's people are paying less or anything like that. I'm saying the outcome of that particular thing. I
Simply because cash is paid.
See, for instance, when I stood for my parliament election first, 2009, here was a team opposite me, Congress DMK alliance. 2009 is when, in the parliament election, somebody very systematically paid money. It was my esteemed competitor from Congress. Okay, lifted on the shoulders of DMK by the same ex-minister he is speaking about. And 200 rupees was paid to everybody, and it was recorded, documentary, enough evidence there. First time, I felt like terrible. Everybody was saying Vaiko will win or I will win. Yeah. And the third person comes and wins, he does the 200 rupees. A 200 rupees impact at that time, in my psephological understanding, would have been a swing of about 10%. Okay. In my view, today, that swing is not likely to happen. In my view, there's a distinct body of people.
I have given you concrete examples where money has not worked. Why do you say that the influence is going down? I'm saying, no, I'm saying that, no, I'm answering his question. I'm saying there have been clear instances where money has produced nothing. There have been instances where, I don't want to cast individual names, but in my town, in my neighboring constituency, the gentleman who paid money lost by 30,000 votes. 1 year. 5 years later, without paying money, he only lost by 12,000 votes against the other gentleman who didn't pay money the first year.
But you also have anti-incumbency and various other factors.
So my point is money is not a determining
Mr. Narayan, in a couple of sentences, please, and then we'll have to move on.
Whether you win or lose, paying money for votes is a sin, is a crime. We should definitely.
But you have no problem having an alliance with parties.
No, that's what
are okay with it.
BJP will not pay cash for votes. I can 100%. I can promise that. I can vouch for that. If my party does that, I will not be in that party. Okay. I'm telling you. So that's it. So we will also pressurize our alliance partners not to give cash for votes, and definitely we will follow, and we will. At the best, we will definitely do that. But, like how, between 1999 and 2004, when Vajpayee was the Prime Minister, there was no corruption charges against the DMK. Yeah. It was because of the management of BJP. Like that, we will definitely.
Okay.
Should only add.
Last.
Should only add. Cash, along with cash for votes, cash for parties should also not happen.
Okay, last point before we go to the audience, 30 seconds only each. Unemployment, huge numbers of unemployed people in Tamil Nadu. I know that the unemployment rate in Tamil Nadu is lower than other states, and we're doing very well compared to the rest of the other states. National average 7.2, February's average for Tamil Nadu is 1.4, all that is taken. Lakhs and lakhs of people, youngsters are coming out into the market. 50,000 MSEs, small and medium enterprises have been shut. This is a statement made in the assembly.
Wrong data. I think it's correct.
I'm sorry, it was made in the assembly.
Yeah, it was not made, it was printed in the book in the assembly. It was corrected the next day. It was corrected the next day in the assembly. There's a system which the central government changed of recording, and because of that, that error happened. MSMEs have been growing in Tamil Nadu much better than any other state.
Okay. Now the question is, how are you going to provide employment for all these? Employment exchange, 89 lakh people were registered. I agree, not all of them are unemployed. I note that point. Yeah. But you're now going to be, I was told that it's almost 1 crore of people registered in the employment exchange in Tamil Nadu.
See, listen, people who are in the colleges do register there. We have very detailed response to it in the assembly. Just out of these so-called 80 lakhs, almost 40 lakhs of people are actually studying. And the rest of the people are there in order to seek organized sector employment, government jobs especially, which is a priority, so they're there. The only state which has significantly reduced the number of active employment seekers in the employment exchange is Tamil Nadu. We are the only ones who had 100% registration when the student just passes out of the place. Our route to this is skill development. Very focused skill development efforts have happened in the state. Modi himself spoke about it in the parliament that the state which has invested best in the skill development has been Tamil Nadu. The only time Tamil Nadu sent money back was during the year 2006 and 2011, where every year it will be there, 50 crores, 75 crores, 100 crores, it will go back to the central government. We have never sent back a single penny in the last 8 years of our work here. Skill development has happened right. Amma skill development come employment generation scheme is very unique. You get 22,000 rupees to an SME if they hire a person for about 5,000 rupees per month kind of a thing. Some of these very bottom line things have been happening in Tamil Nadu, in my view. And To us, we are the state. Your numbers, you just brushed aside. That's 7.2% in India, 1.2% in Tamil Nadu. It's absolute fact. So we have been able to reduce the extent of unemployment through unemployability very significantly in this state.
Mr. Tyagarajan, what do you think needs to be done? Very, very briefly, because we're going to go to the audience for questions.
Again, at the governor's address last year, I asked this question. There are fundamental structural problems. I'm not in business of all this Jumla statistics. Structurally, there's a problem. You have an education system that is throwing out people that are not employable by the economy. You have not matched your output to your input. You need to figure out how to restructure your whole educational output. That's what any decent, any advanced country does. You need better Bureau of Labor Statistics. You need better Economic Development Board data. You need to project this down, not just to the students, but to their parents. Because most of these students are first time going to college, first time finishing high school. The upside of our gross enrollment ratio, as I've said in the assembly, is the fact that they are not advised well. Their parents have never seen a college. They don't know what jobs there are. They don't know what career tracks there are. There needs to be a fundamental improvement in the information system. What we call in the market information inefficiency has to be eliminated, and it needs to be comprehensive from the education system to the industry system.
Okay. I thank Mr. Tyagarajan, but his party, when it comes to new education policy, they will oppose it when we bring reforms. This is the problem in India now, saying that it's a federal setup. See, as far as unemployment concerned, there is a very big rumor and there is a very big false image is being created in the country. There is no unemployment. I'm telling you. There are,
CMIE says 11 million people lost their jobs. CMIE, we won't believe. We won't believe NSSO report.
I will tell you.
On what? On what? Data
I will tell you. That's what. You should allow me to talk.
Yes,
like it should
yes,
not happen like what we do in debates.
Yeah.
See, there are 137 crores. The population of the country is 137 crores. Please try to understand that 40 crores are between 0 and 15. So it comes down to 97 crores. 7 crore people, students are there, they don't need jobs.
So 90 crores.
So 90 crores. And then we have got around 6 crores of people above 64 who are retired. Comes down to 84. In India, out of 137 crores, 48.4% are women. Out of these 48.4% women, 71.5% women don't go to work because they work in home. So they are not taken into account that they are working.
Yes.
So when this 10% reservation was, not this 10%, in the midterm, in the budget, interim budget, when Mr. Piyush Goyal said that the unorganized sector will receive a 3,000 rupees pension scheme, the opposition said, how can you do that? How will you do that? There are 42 crores of unorganized employment is there in this country, and how can you do this? You have to provide 48,000 crores every year. So the opposition has accepted there are 42 crores of unorganized employment, and more than around 10 crore employment is there in organized sector, and around 10 crores are there as entrepreneurs and also industrialists. So we have an employment of around 60 crores, whereas you say that there is a huge unemployment situation is available. We have created, BJP government has created 12 crore employment in the last 5 years.
Very quick one, no data. All that I will say is organized sector percentage is the highest in Tamil Nadu in the whole of the country. When the country was at 8% organized sector, during the DMK rule, we were at 9.5%. Okay, PF data measure. Today, when the country is at 12%, we are at 18.5%. And that's important for us. What's the nature of jobs you create in the economy? I think that Tamil Nadu has been at the forefront of creating a lot more higher quality jobs, in my view. That's one point I like to make.
Okay, we're going to throw the floor open for questions.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good evening, rather. My name is Bharat. I'm a lawyer by profession, a member of CIC as well. One suggestion, one question. Suggestion is if all three of you can get together and become one big party, it will be wonderful to have such well-educated gentlemen leading us all.
New party. I thought you were going to say they should join one party.
Yeah. All of us do travel a lot across the world and across India as well. Last 15 years, I believe, Chennai has possibly become the dirtiest city in India. 16.9 lakh crores. I'm sure that take out a few zeros and the city will be much cleaner. I'm talking about cities like Indore. We were talking a few hours earlier how Calcutta has become much more cleaner. I'm only talking about sanity and sanitization of the cities. Any suggestions or why it has not worked?
Trichy is deemed to be cleaner.
No, I can tell you why it has not worked across Tamil Nadu. I'm urban, my constituency is 100% urban. Tamil Nadu has been urbanizing at a tremendous rate. At this point, the government statistics say we're about 48.5% urban. Most urban state in India. And the government's statistics in the governor's address say we will get to 76% urban in the next few years. I can tell you there has been no systematic planning done. I say this apart from politics. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm saying there has been no systematic planning done for infrastructure development in the light of the rate of growth of population. My constituency, when my father stood in 2006, had only 1.45 lakh voters. When I stood in 2016, it had 2.4 lakh voters. There has been no improvement in the infrastructure. The basic infrastructure in Madurai's water system dates to 1908, what the British built. So we need to have a fundamental urban infrastructure planning model that has some capability of thinking 5-10 years ahead. For example, the Amrut scheme that was started in our time that is not yet completed, when it is completed, will be already clogged because people have grown so much that there's no space to take the water out. So there's a fundamental disconnect between the planning and investment that is needed and what you get. That's my view.
A quick response. I would like to say that two key schemes. One is, as my friend said, Amrut for the municipalities in excess of a lakh of population. Two is the Smart City scheme, which is for the corporations. We have 12 of our cities which are covered by the Smart City scheme. We are investing in infrastructure, as I talked about the Chennai River Water Restoration Trust, which is, in my view, a very successful program. We have taken a project approach to this whole thing, whether it's transportation, urban transportation, integrating metro with other modes of transport, especially the MRTS, what we have here. There is an integration in progress. When that happens, you will see, even with the limited 65 kilometers of metro that we have, you've seen a big impact in terms of shifting of the transporting population to the metro, relieving a bit of a pressure on the roads here. The roads are getting expanded, as I told you, the number of kilometers per day what we have laid is 3 times what it was in the earlier period. This is true nationally, and in my view, the pollution standards have been raised. As you know, the automotives are converting into better forms of non-polluting transportation. All those rigorous norms are brought in today. And simple ideas like, for instance, the 2,000 crores we are spending on the multi-level parking, which is new to Chennai, which 2,000 crores got invested, announced in this recent budget. We are working hard on multiple modes of infrastructural investment in Chennai. And mark my words, the central government's one thing where they are publishing now today, the urban living, how they compare in terms of Swachh Bharat, how they're comparing in other things, have been making an impact. Yes. Trichy has come now within the top 5 among the cities, and we believe that all the 14 corporations here will receive that kind of attention and funds in the near future.
Now, Mr. Viswanathan's question.
Jagajan has been a voter of structural reforms. I would like to make you people start with agriculture. You know, the fundamental problem, you have been missing the bus totally, and you need a different type of thinking on this. The average size of the farm in Tamil Nadu is 2 acres. And as somebody who has inherited it over 4 or 5 generations, this 2 acres is distributed among 3-4 different tenants. Therefore, the average available is hardly 0.4 to 0.6 acre, distributed among 4 or 5 tenants. In that case, you can never do any amount of improvement in this because the small farms don't have any science or technology applicable to that. So the fundamental need now is agglomeration of land holdings. For that to happen, you have to agree for long-term leasing of land without alienating ownership. This is being done in Punjab, this is being done in Rajasthan and other states, where the rate of growth has been phenomenal. If you take a 20-year span, the annual growth in Punjab of agriculture is more than 10%. In Tamil Nadu, it is 1%. So any amount of subsidies like PMK party waiving off of loans, bank loans and that things, or you are giving, doubling the promise of our Tirupati, Narayan.
Sorry, any question specifically, because you are such a big expert.
Yes,
It
the
calls for a
fundamental
separate
question
session.
is, are you ready to think in terms of an out-of-the-box thinking of agglomerating these land holdings, invite public sector or other to make use of it, and then put science and technology to increase a quantum jump in agriculture?
So I worry that we wasted about 3 minutes of time. In my statement, which you probably didn't hear clearly, the first thing I said is, we got to fix fundamental issues like the small average holding size, right? We can spend 40 minutes on one thesis here, or we can talk about 200 topics. You're not adding a new concept to me. I've already said it. Right?
Okay.
The quick one on the contract farming, we have recently passed law. The last assembly session, we passed the law on contract farming, allowing a certain level of aggregation among the farmers. This farmers producers groups, which are getting converted into companies, they are allowed to now aggregate and do collective farming. That's a step which we've taken. Yeah, but we had to get the funding now. The funding has just come from the World Bank. The 660 crores which has come in will be our equity component. The farmer group invests 10 lakhs, we invest 20 lakhs. So there's a 30 lakh company which is getting created there. Yes, the World Bank funding has taken a little longer time, but it will move faster now.
Yes,
see,
sir.
as far as farming is concerned, 1 minute, I will finish it because it's important about the farmers. We brought this land rehabilitation Amendment Act in 2015, which was denied by almost all the political opposition parties. Okay. If it had come, definitely it would have been a very big revolution in setting up a beautiful infrastructure facilities in urban, rural areas. That was a rural infrastructure related bill. Okay. But once again, because it was brought by BJP, the regional parties opposed it.
Okay, okay. But we'll make a little rule on the fly that one question will be answered only by one person. Okay? Okay. Yeah. Quickly.
I am Subramanian. I am a senior citizen and pensioner. The point is, both the Honorable Minister have touched upon the Dravidian philosophy, as well as Honorable Member have also touched upon the philosophy of Dravidian. But in my 64 years, right from college days, the Dravidian is the word being used by all the political parties except Congress and BJP. Other parties have got the word Dravidian in their party name. I may be wrong, or my understanding will be less to understand what is the real Dravidian philosophy. Because Honorable Member says it is dating back from Anna days. Okay. Honorable Minister says Mr. MGR has developed it into a social inclusion. Honorable Member says it's social justice. Both are very good points. I don't deny that. The point is, let both parties at least come out with a common statement. This is the Dravidian statement, Dravidian philosophy. Why? Because everybody is telling this is against Aryans, this is against Sanatan. Then this is a no, going to temple. Sorry.
Point is well taken.
Thank you.
So I'll let you quickly respond. Sir,
how can he respond? He has just said he's not Dravidian. How is he giving the answer? Come on.
Come on. No. I exactly want to respond on that.
You can't allow a non-Dravidian to give an answer for a Dravidian question.
That's not right. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. This is extension. Okay, please. All that I said at that time was, there are different brands of Dravidian philosophy. Okay. The MGR brand and Amma brand is very different from how it was understood and articulated by Kalaignar. Even that was acceptable to us, but what Mr. Stalin is articulating is what I had a difficulty
Answer his question, what it is.
Don't
say who was, who wasn't.
It's
the same.
Okay.
Answer what is the definition of it.
Okay, boss, what it means to us, if you ask what our philosophy in terms of our party, it's very clearly inclusion, social inclusion, welfareism, where we are able to do direct benefit transfers of what people need, we are giving, blend developmental and welfare politics together. Every one of our welfare schemes have a development component. So judge us by our efforts and the outcomes. Okay,
Mr. Tyagarajan, very briefly, because this is an important point.
The 30-second question.
30 seconds,
the movement goes back 102 years. My grandfather was invited to speak by Aringer Anna, so-called Anna DMK Anna, at the Golden Jubilee of the Justice Party, and he said these words. He said, men may come and men may go, civilizations rise and fall, empires come together and dissolve, the Justice Party as an organization may die, but the values that it stands for are eternal and will live forever. He said that in 58, my leader said that in 2016. He said 68, we said, here are my values. Social inclusion, number one, everybody should be given opportunity. Social equality, nobody is hierarchical, up, down or the other. Any religion is equally acceptable as long as it doesn't stratify society. Proportional access to opportunity. The communal GO was passed that said, why is 3% of the population holding 90% of the jobs? Give jobs based on the proportion of the population that they are. Compulsory education for everybody, boys and girls. The right to vote for women given in Madras Presidency by the Justice Party before Delhi, before London. These are the values of our movement. These values have not changed for 100 years.
Yeah. Next question.
We should definitely go back to our national anthem. See that we all will know that Dravida is a landscape. Very simple.
Yeah, last two questions. I think we're running out of time.
My name is Ramesh, and this question is related to Mr. Bharat's question about keeping the city clean. You spoke about big schemes, grandiose, nice schemes. But can the two of you, now, here and now, take a pledge that you will not make the city ugly by, pasting posters all over the place, cutouts? No, see, the moment you come out of Chennai airport, you come out of Bengaluru airport, it's beautifully landscaped. Come out of Chennai airport, it's also a landscape. But you look at all these pillars, you have only your posters.
So when you see my see my face on a poster, you complain to me. Till then, I can't.
Okay, we are the only party which actually which had the guts to ban plastics, and there are digitals have come down very sharply. You don't see digitals. There's a standing order within our party not to have digitals out in the open. You will not be seeing it from January 1st, 2019. Very sharp reduction. Posters are still happening. It's a menace, but we are not consciously encouraging it. I would make a pledge. I would make a pledge at this moment that the digitals, plastics, will cease. 100%.
No, we're not talking, sir. My leader is on record. He has said no salves, no falling at the feet, no posters, no banners, all these things. Of course, party people get over enthusiastic. It's also a fact that ruling party will do 10 times more than the opposition party. They have more money to spend. When we were ruling party, that would have happened too, right? So it has to be a culture that starts from the top. My leader has already said that no posters, no banners. There are multiple weddings where I have gone with him, where he has said, if these posters remain tomorrow morning, I am not coming to the wedding. You take them down. How did you put these up? So we are changing the culture. It takes time.
There are a lot of judgments, right from High Court to Supreme Court, that these posters should not be there. And it should be properly, the judgment should be implemented, which is not happening. Only traffic Ramasamy is fighting.
Okay.
Come on.
So what?
Very frankly, I'm telling you.
But to be very fair, this is something which almost all parties are offenders at various points of time. I don't think any party can claim the high road, on this one, including BJP, because on Twitter we constantly see the flex banners.
Here the law enforcing agencies should implement. That's what I'm saying.
My question was on what freebies can voters expect this time?
Okay,
So they've already got 1,000 rupees at Pongal and 2,000 rupees now from the advance deficit. I don't know what else they can get. There's only 4 or 5 days left for declaration of the elections, right? So
I think there's a very key distinction between the freebies that ADMK has offered and the freebies TMK has offered. And I want to make a statement on that. What we will give, you'll know in another 3 days. Modi is coming here. The election manifesto is getting announced on that day. But all that I would say, every one of our so-called freebie, which Amma calls it Vilayilla Porukal. Vilayilla Porukal means
I challenge Mr. Pandirajan to a debate. I challenge Mr. Pandirajan to a debate on freebies at any time of his choosing about the quality of which freebie is what. I challenge him. Here, please arrange. Mr. Gopal Srinivasan, please arrange a debate for us about his quality of freebies, my quality of freebies. We cannot dilute this conversation with random nonsense about what is and what isn't a freebie.
A color television given by the earlier government.
A color television given by the earlier government when there was no access to information that led to a reduction in birth rates in rural areas, as opposed to a scooter being given to somebody so you can make bribes off it. What is the value of that?
Mr. Tyagarajan, I'm sorry.
When you have the restricted
we can't do
number of operators here, telecom operators, and you have a free color TV scheme, you have straight away 1,000 crore gets added to one particular company, which incidentally happens to be owned by the promoter's family. Okay, so that's that's
okay,
the kind of freebie we give.
Okay, for an audience like ours, that you are addressing, the fear is beyond KPR and beyond Palnivel. Is there a serious intellectual bankruptcy in the regional parties of Tamil Nadu?
Actually, it's a very,
I don't think so. Honestly, the kind of people we have in the party who are part of the think tank can put any of us to shame. There are people of Vaigachelvan's stature, there are people of Thangamani's stature, the kind of thinking that he is able to do, the kind of work that he has done in terms of setting the power situation right. He can, hold perspectives in this audience very well. He may not have done an MBA engineer, MBA, or a Wharton or a Stanford or a whatever, but I think there are people who are very dehati, who are very, very earthy people in the party, and Amma has groomed such people here. And people, I just met an MLA from Sirgali, for instance. He's not even a graduate, but the kind of perspectives he's able to come up with in agriculture is phenomenal. And we are a party which is not stratified hugely. Everybody in the party can become an MLA or an MP. No other party in this country has a system where everybody can vote to elect their leader. And that's something which is enshrined in our constitution of a party. The key distinction between ADMK or any other parties is even a guy who comes in right down below can hope to be an MLA or an MP or even the chief minister. They can't say that.
Mr. Tyagarajan, that's a dig at you, your party. Yeah.
All these are in theory. When did they hold the actual count? Where is the actual General Secretary? Why are they in Supreme Court? Why are they with the Election Commission? Why are they negotiating backroom deals? What happened in Kuvatur? Please tell us all these answers, then we'll talk about
Good
values.
evening. This is Mukesh. So this question is to both of you. The question is what do you advise the youngsters who wish to participate in upcoming election? And what did you both uniquely did to win in your constituency?
Myself is very easy. I had good coattails of my father, and I did two things differently. One, I went to every street, every slum, every back, area, and I made sure I understood the people and the people saw me. And I was very clear that I was coming for only one reason, which was service, and they believed that. So that's mine unique. I don't know if it will work for everybody. Much more important question which you ask. I believe we are at an inflection point in politics. I believe that after the passing of Ms. Jayalalitha and my Talaivar, we are going to move back towards a intellectual, towards a value-based politics and much less on a personality-based politics. I think it is also the time, because of penetration of social media, because of the number of new young voters that are coming into the system, that the value of a platform, whether it's my platform or Mr. Pandirajan's platform, I won't go so far as Mr. Narayanan's platform because it doesn't exist that much in Tamil Nadu. But whether it is his platform or my platform is not going to be that useful to you. The system is changing. The system is changing, and people can find ways. That is happening all over the world. You see, Mr. Trump came out of nowhere without having been a counselor. You see the rise of far-right parties in Europe. Once you have mass communications through social media and direct links, you don't need a party structure anymore. People with good ideas, with good communication strategies will be able to penetrate. We are at the end of an era and the cusp of a new one. It will look a lot different from now. All young people should get involved. Now is the time.
I think for me,
very well done.
What I did personally different, I'd like to answer the question. I stood in Virudhunagar, my hometown, my home place. One like a jiffy, everything happened right. Avadi, I didn't know the place from Adam. I went there, and I think what helped me hugely was my wife and I, we run a lot of institutions. We have educated 4,000 young kids who have grown to be, now working in Infosys or this place and that place. All of them came to work for us, without any exception. They were standing out there. Suddenly people didn't know where the hell these guys were coming from, okay? They were really working very selflessly. And of course, the magic of Amma did the trick, where in ADMK only, these kinds of magics can happen. Someone who goes to a constituency where his own caste is less than 4%, okay, Amma will put a person there. No other party it happens, okay? So if you are considering politics and entry into it, political platforms still matter, in my view. Standing on your own, building a party and going along will take a lot more time, a lot more charisma, a lot more thing you need to have. If you have to choose a political platform which will allow access to you without being discriminated on the basis of anything, whichever. And purely depending on your meritocracy, you can go up in a party, and that's ADMK.
Lady there.
I have a question for all three parties. Given Tamil Nadu's extreme vulnerability in terms of water, given that agriculture that you've all spoken about consumes about 75% of our water, and given the fact that the larger farmers preferentially own the bore wells, how politically feasible is it to bring a price on agricultural electricity?
does it make sense to charge for farmers?
It's heresy, firstly. I mean, it's blasphemy as far as here to speak about that part. But I've been actually inspired by some of the things Modi had done in Gujarat initially, where he started with the metering first. He started talking about little by little. He faced a big political battle where the farmer lobby stood against him. But I think he's been able to manage it at the time when he was the chief minister. The way to go, one, okay, Tamil Nadu is not Gujarat. Here, our dependency on agriculture has come down much, much sharply than it was ever. Here, the farmers are quite enlightened due to various movements which have happened and things like that. I don't think it's really necessary at this point in time, because one of the reasons Modi did there was huge wastage which was happening. You know, people will just let the water flow and not switch off the pumps and things like that. Here, in my view, Tamil Nadu, the integrated package for farmers that we are giving now through RTP is a very powerful initiative for them. And I don't see the route that Modi took in Gujarat to happen in Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, our farmers are very, very different cut, in my view. Organizing them will be a challenge, which is the challenge we have taken on today. You organize them into the 6,000 farmer producer groups, producer councils, companies. In my view, much of the transformation in Tamil Nadu will arise out of it, because this is a land of entrepreneurship. People understand, even the lowest of lowest here in Tamil Nadu have an entrepreneurial streak in their mind, as in very, very few places outside Tamil Nadu. That's what we would like to leverage on and go that route and get him to see the value of not wasting water, value of not wasting electricity and things like that.
See, I just want to give a very specific example. As soon as I became an MLA, within 3 months I realized, when we looked at all the statistics being published by the government, from PWD, from the dam release, from different parts, the collector's office, that significant amounts of water were being stolen out of the Periyar supply that was supposed to come to Vaigai Dam and then come to Madurai. As an urban constituency MLA, my people were not getting drinking water. It was a bad situation. So I did some analysis. I wrote a letter to the then Chief Minister. The then Chief Minister immediately, Ms. Jayalalitha, immediately ordered an investigation. They came and shut off power to all the illegal connections along the river. In one day, the flow went up by 150 cusecs. In one day. After her passing, everything went back again. So now we are losing almost 250 cusecs of water between Periyar and Madurai, because it's being stolen by people who are not riparian right owners in those places. They're pumping the water to 6 kilometers, 12 kilometers. My assessment, we're losing about 12 lakhs of rupees worth of electricity charges a day on that. I have spoken informally to the Water Department PWD Secretary. He didn't take it. I sent him a formal complaint. It is now registered with him. I've got some feedback that they're doing investigation. Very shortly, I'll be approaching the High Court, asking for the court to take action, because my data is 100% from the government. The only thing the government did constructively, they stopped publishing the information, so I couldn't tell how much was being stolen. So now I have to go and back it out from using all kinds of various sources. I will go to court. It's already it's on my website. I'm happy to send you the link. We have a documented analysis, and we are going to go to court, and it's already with Mr. S.K. Prabhakar, the PWD Secretary.
Would you still advocate what she said of being able
I'm saying if we fix 200, the whole supply to Madurai is 69 cusecs. If I can stop 250 cusecs from being stolen, I don't worry so much about whether the little farmer gets free electricity or not. My worry is to stop the big ones from exploiting the system, right?
See, what Mr. Modi did in Gujarat, when Mr. Pandirajan was referring, Modi asked whether you want free current or 24 hours current. That is what he asked, and the free current option was disabled. And even some MLAs who were stealing this were arrested for this. So that kind of strong measures should be taken in Tamil Nadu also, and the infrastructure facilities on farming, like in this Mahatma Gandhi MNREGA, people were saying that we have literally kept this entire system out of the thing. But the real fact is that this MNREGA has doubled. Now it is 60,000 crores. Tamil Nadu has been #1 for the last 3 years. And through this, the infrastructure activities on rural household is happening. So infrastructure has to develop. People have to stay in villages. The main problem is that people from villages come to cities. That should be stopped. Basic facilities should be given. That is why we said the Land Rehabilitation Act should have come. If that had come, the facilities would have gone there. We would have definitely stopped the laborers, coming to city.
Yeah, we'll take the very last question. We are out of time. Last question. Yes, sir.
So every party talks about, mentions common man, mentions secularism. Can you gentlemen please define what is secularism and who is a common man?
Okay, last question. Who is a common man and what is secularism? Very quickly. Battery is gone, is it?
No. When everybody has the right to practice their religion without interference from the state, without pressure to go one way or the other, without kind of threat of violence or intimidation that you can only do this holiday, that holiday. This is not just about religion, but also about caste and so forth around the place, about who can do what on which festival, who can reach what door of which temple, etc. When those are legislated by the government and those laws are actually enforced and enacted and people get to enjoy freedom of religion, that to me is that is secularism. Common man is you, me, him, her.
Everybody. Okay, Mr. Narayanan, I'm very interested in knowing Mr. Narayanan's view on secularism.
In 2014, when Mr. Modi went to UN, he literally said, see, the other countries, they said you have to control the climate change. There are a lot of, we pose a challenge, very big challenges in front of us. So you have to cut down the fuel, that is burning of coal and petrol, diesel, everything. But Mr. Modi said, our Prime Minister said, see, that we cannot do because you all people have enjoyed everything. But in India, we have poor people. But I can tell you one thing, we have an art. And that art will definitely cure the effects by the climate change. And that is yoga. 175 countries, in the world except India, opposition parties. Where from our own, culture, yoga, and they started saying that it is Hindutva. Modi is saying to insert Hindutva. Throughout the world, yoga has gone. The same thing, this beef issue, we all, only one thing. This beef issue. Just imagine, climate change, why it is happening throughout the world. It is because of the gas produced by the milking cows. Milking cows. This is the 50% of methane gas comes out of milking cows.
Okay, I can,
this is there.
One
minute, sir. 1 minute.
We can do a little bit of debate on that.
Sir, very seriously.
Anyway, we are winding up.
Question.
Yes,
I have a point to prove. I have a point to prove.
Okay.
I am not communal. I'm not talking about anything communal.
Okay.
See, that is the reason this government brought an act for cattle. What is that term? I forgot. Cattle Regulation Act. And these people started saying that BJP is against Muslims, they are against people eating beef. It is not so. Who created this communal divide? It is the opposition parties who are trying to make everything communal. That is why I call the opposition, Congress, DMK and Communists as communal parties. And the word secular came only during emergency. It was not before that. This is definitely a Hindustan according to Pakistan. So this is Hindustan.
Just quick one.
Yeah,
all that I would say is Amma and MGR lived the highest levels of ideals of secularism without calling themselves secular or any such titles. Amma used to sing Christmas carols. Amma used to offer during Bagreed whatever sacrifices which need to happen. And she truly lived a life of what was Indian secularism. Secularism as a term came from Western world where it actually means non-believing. There are the greatest fight the church has today is against the secularists. Okay, so unfortunately, the secularism in Tamil Nadu had to be lifted up by the so-called non-believers. We are a party which believes in believing secularism. In my view, that's the interpretation that we would like to have. We have believing Hindus, we have believing Muslims, we have believing Christians who are all part of the party, and that is secularism to us.
That's it, sir. That's about all that. Sir, please. We'll take it offline. We'll take it offline.
Mr. Tyagarajan.
Yeah.
Mr. Tyagarajan, you are the right person in the wrong party.
Okay. No. I think no. Actually, Mr. Peter Alphonse actually was at a election committee meeting. They are announcing their alliance, I believe, tomorrow. So that's why he couldn't make it.
So it is very ominous. They are disappearing.
Okay. On this note, thank you to all our panelists. Please give them a big round of applause for a very, very engaging session that we've had today. Thank you.